Hello, welcome to my channel, A Piece of Gaia. My name is Lindsay, and today we're going to do a card reading about what you need to know for the next 24 hours. So maybe something's going to be happening tomorrow and there's some information that's coming through. Maybe there's a blessing on its way. But regardless of that, we're going to go ahead and look at the cards and see. So I will have 3 different picks for you to choose from. We're going to choose from these dice as well. And then we're going to choose a card of the day right now. So I hope you all are having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. And if you are not having the best day, hopefully I can say something or you will see something here that will help brighten up your spirits. Okay. So what is our card of the day for today? Card of the day is number 33, Horse Spirit. Freedom is yours. Beautiful. I love it. We are in the year of the horse if you are watching this video in 2026. Okay, you're the fire horse. So beautiful energy for us today. Really setting off into the new year. You know, the new year doesn't really begin until into February for the Chinese New Year, but really also the new year doesn't really begin until spring really sets in, especially where I'm at in the world. You know, winter's still very much drudging and, you know, it's very cold outside still, but we have our signs of spring here coming along, and this year's going to be pretty quick moving. And the master number 33 in this card is also showing me just a very spiritual energy between us as well. I feel there might be even some leadership that comes up with some of you where you're leading somebody spiritually or a group of people spiritually, and also just mastery in general. I feel like there is this essence to what freedom might mean to you, and you might be mastering that this year because it means very different things to everybody else. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get the picks here. Pick number 1 is going to be the planet Venus. Pick number 2 is going to be the sun. And pick number 3 is going to be the moon. All right, and if you'd like to choose with cards, we're going to choose a United States of America, a state from this place, okay? Okay, Ohio for number 1, Wisconsin for number 2, that's the state I'm in, and Wyoming for number 3. All right, the timestamps will be listed in the description box and in the pinned comments by now. All right, and I will see you in your selected reading. Hello to those of you that selected Ohio here and the Venus symbol in this dice here. So I'm not going to do too much about this, but I recently just watched this program. I believe it was called Ancient Apocalypses or something like that. But it talked about these land formations in Ohio that are very, very old, and they don't even really know how old these are. One looks like a swirling serpent going toward eating some kind of egg. It has some significance to facing towards the solstice. So I don't really know exactly what solstice. I don't know all the details on that, but maybe that might be something you might want to look up. Very interesting information. A lot of, I will say, maybe since I brought that up, you know, there might be something about your life or something about information in your life where you're learning something about this thing, you're learning more information about this thing, and it's going to give you more of the keys toward walking the direction that you need to. Or I'm feeling like also sitting back and receiving here with this Venus energy. And I'm feeling like aesthetically there might be something, since I did bring that up, it's like there might be something very old or very ancient or very just maybe there's something with your aesthetics in your home environment or something like that, or the way that you're designing your personal look that have something to do with a very old time period, and you're kind of putting a new spin on it, feeling, right? So cool energy with this. We're going to go ahead and get you dice here. We're going to have 3 different zodiac signs at the end and 4 different numbers for an angel number. But right now, let's go ahead and look at the moon cards here. And this is a timeless reading, but sometimes these have timing aspects. So if you want to go ahead and look this information up, I'm not going to just share the information, but I will share if it is something that I can share. And I have a few videos where I do timings, but this video is not one of those videos. Okay, we have the Mask. Okay, so there's an energy of keeping up with appearances here, and there's also a need to break new ground and change old-fashioned views here. So it's interesting that that's a concept, because we're speaking a little bit about Venus here. And our card of the day, if you didn't catch the beginning, our card of the day here's number 33 with Horse Spirit, Freedom is Yours. So I feel like maybe there is some kind of aspect to your identity here, something about you where you're revealing something. The Mask is hiding something. So I feel like there might be some kind of a dramatic reveal when it comes to you letting people see this more hidden side of yourself. And I'm thinking that you're waiting for something. There's some kind of timing aspect here that you're waiting for. Yeah, because there was a timing thing that I talked about in this with the solstice, with that land works thing. It also regards that there might be, you know, people around you that might be wearing masks at this time, and maybe just saying what you want to hear in order to get in your good graces, in order to communicate with you for reasons of probably work or something like that. But with 24, I feel like this is a very harmonious situation. Everything will work out in its timing aspect. That timing is a factor here, definitely. I'm seeing that there's the 2 and the 4 equaling 6, and then there's 6 of these kind of wavy hair dangly pieces. So I'm feeling with that as well, there's something about a choice, something about the harmony, something about the choices that you're making. I'm also seeing you finances coming into play, something about money here as well with Venus and this card. This card also speaks of securing your finances in order to outweigh your enemies. That's kind of how it's worded, but really what it is like getting past adversity at this time, making sure that you don't do things outside of your own class system, out of your own character, out of, you know, it's kind of giving me like, don't spend a bunch of money that you don't have just so that you can show off to somebody who doesn't even matter. It's kind of the energy that I'm kind of getting from this. If it is a relationship and it's new, maybe there needs to be time passing by before you do some more physical things. That's just some energy that's coming through, because there just might be some insecurities or something that we're holding on to. And I feel like if there's any kind of things said that might be triggering, the reactions from that might be a little more than what they would be if we just gave this some time. I just feel like it needs time. A lot of things are like that when it comes to reaction and needing time to think about things. You know, that could also be an aspect. Maybe there's something that you're having a conversation about and you're just like, okay, I've absorbed this information. Now I just need some time to marinate on it. All right. So let's get you some tarot cards. And I have a few different decks of tarot cards. Just kind of wanted to switch it up today. So this message is for the next 24 hours, and I find it interesting. I didn't really touch on that at all. And we have the 24 here. So, you know, maybe that might be an indicator that at the very end of the cycle of this day, or like from the very exact next time of tomorrow, from when you're watching this, and this could be any time. This is a timeless reading. We have the Page of Pentacles. When life gives you lemons, make enchanted lemonade. Right. So something about working with what you got here. Working with what you got. Some more messages for those that selected group 1 for the next 24 hours. Okay, it's interesting because I saw, I think, the 6 of Pentacles. So we got the 6 of Cups. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Of succulents, or 10 of cups. Okay, beautiful cards, beautiful cards. So I'm generally feeling a sense of tenderness, a sweetness, a feeling of nostalgia of events in the past that have brought you a lot of joy. I'm also seeing like a childhood memory of selling lemonade, a lemonade stand, or maybe some kind of childhood memory that you had about making money. There might be some relevance to that going forward, moving forward for your happiness. Maybe there's something that you're doing right now that is a little bit out of balance, and the money that you're accepting is really just feeling like unequal give and take. Maybe you're the one giving too much, maybe someone else is giving too much, but there might be give and take that cannot really be compared, because I'm feeling like some of it is like you know, someone is about the finances and someone else is more about the home and taking care of children and things like that. And the fact that we got this 666 message is definitely, I'm feeling like something was related to your finances. And again, you know, going back to our card of the day, number 33, equaling a 6. So I'm really feeling the sense that things are going to be coming into balance within the next 24 hours. Things will be feeling more harmonious. Things will be feeling just, I feel like just a nice, pleasant energy. And I'm also feeling like this is making me feel like we don't have to regard this information. It came in the reverse, and I'm feeling like this might be something that is being the thing that's hidden from us, because I feel like a lot of the colors in this card, and as I said that, I had to clear my throat. So something about your throat chakra is being a little bit blocked here by something about the root chakra. We have a lot of red color in this card, and I do feel like it is in this card as well. So there might be something from the past here that we need to rise up here to the top. And this rainbow with the red on the top. We need to rise up this information into our emotional energy, rise it up to the surface, and deal with it and look at it for what it is. And then we can come back to a grounded perspective about this, because I feel like our grounded energy is becoming a little bit reworked, and there's a heavy emotional energy, because I'm feeling like there's something that we're not satisfied with. We might be not satisfied with the way that we make money. Maybe we're not satisfied with the way that the money's distributed, or the way that things were given to you. I'm also seeing maybe the first time you made a paycheck, or the first time you got a paycheck on this specific thing, you just were not satisfied about this. It made you feel good at first, because it's like, oh, you know, like, yes. I mean, I could liken this even to your very first paycheck. Like, you have your very first job, and then you're like, oh, remember the feeling of that feeling when I got my very first paycheck? You know, and then there's also this kind of feeling where you're like, this isn't enough. Can you look at the books one more time? Because I don't think you got the numbers right. So maybe there's something also about taxes here. There's a hidden fee, hidden things within this that maybe you didn't know about. And this is kind of being revealed to you here coming up. But also I'm feeling like within your emotional field and your spiritual energy, there is something that is very satisfying, very fulfilling that is coming forward in the next 24 hours. And it just has like a little bit of a mixture of some stuff. It's like, it's telling me to overlook some of these things. Like, this is a 6, this is a 10. So let's think of it that way. What is the thing right now that really makes you happy, and where can you reside in that energy and stay in that energy? And then what is the thing right now that you could definitely just overlook for the moment, because it's just not bringing you any joy, and it's weighing heavy on you, and it's making you feel a little bit drained. So I'm seeing, to get that energy back, it's like, stay in that positive area. And then, you know, I'm also feeling like attitude is everything, because this card says, when life gives you lemons, make enchanted lemonade. That's a very fanciful way to look at life. You know, you're transferring over something that was a little bit meh to something that you could put a happy face on, right? And I feel like that too about mysteries, when I said this information about the things in Ohio. And interestingly, like, I just feel like it brings joy to people also, that those earthworks are there, and that there's such a mystery that no one will ever really know how old they actually are. You know, there's so many mysteries like that out in the world, and I feel like there's so many mysteries within you, and you don't have to uncover all these mysteries right away. I feel also like the reason why someone might feel a certain way or have this magical energy about you is because you put a cap on it. You Like I'm seeing this cap, this red cap, there's red coloring, because you encapsulate that energy. And you also, I feel like you stay fairly grounded in what you're doing, especially right now. You've taken enough time, enough energy to put forth for something to actually start to manifest and happen, because we have, you know, pentacle energy. See, I'm seeing this as a progression, but maybe just not exactly everything that you wanted. You know, I'm feeling like your fulfillment might also lie within more of an emotional freedom rather than a financial freedom. Okay. All right, so let's get you some mudras here, something that might help at this time. All right, so we have 2 different ones for the crown chakra, and then we have the heart chakra here. So justice, I am not to judge, and then magic, bewitched, and then equanimity, smile. Okay, this one is the fairness mudra. This mudra fortifies the solar plexus. Okay, so a little bit different. Clears the head, centers, and stabilizes. And this little quote here says, your love heals my hurt. Your strength strengthens me. Your goodness leads me to new endeavors. And then this one is Visyama Mudra, gesture for a clear and deep perception. It says, my life is encompassed within a great secret of the universe. I have faith in its benevolence. And this one is the Shakinti. I don't know, I'm probably not going to pronounce that correctly. Shakini. Dedicated to the goddess of the throat chakra. Oh yeah, we talked about that. And it's interesting, these colors aren't really matching up, but the numbers are, though. Yeah, my heart knows what is good for me. This is the basis of my actions. And I don't remember exactly where it was when I was saying my throat chakra was feeling a little, so I think it was when I was mentioning the red color or something. Yeah. This one, you know, it has the number 33. So there's deeply a message here for you about speaking your truth, living from your truth, and releasing yourself from that in a way of speaking and letting something out of your heart that you need to speak on. And that's going to be that leveling up and that mastery of you being able to find your freedom, some specific freedom to you. Okay. All right. All right, so your group, everybody gets a different one. Your group, you're going to get the star seeds messages, and then a therapet, and then we'll do your dice. So the next 24 hours, what do those that chose this group need to hear? Blue flame, connect to the blue flame, which is the light of pure love within you. Love, give your truth and share the love that is in your soul. Then Gaia, connect to the pulse of Mother Earth. She will guide you through this time of change. Okay, so if there's any big changes that are coming up, it's time to honor that energy, right? Honor that. You know, and also interesting that we got the Ohio card too, because about a year ago, around this time, actually, I was thinking of moving to Ohio and like seriously considering it. I had lots of things planned and things, and some things changed. So maybe there's something about moving. Maybe something's changed. Maybe something's reworking itself. Okay, so I had to pause the video. My sons have a sleepover and they're gonna dye their hair. All right, sounds good. Like I just made them chocolate chip pancakes and blueberry pancakes for breakfast, and now they're rearing to go and want to dye each other's hair. All right then. They were asking me for gloves. All right, you are not a burden. You are lucky to have. Yes. Yes, there's that pink color heart chakra. Yeah, something from the heart, something you love, loving yourself also at this time. There's going to be a very overwhelming sense of love coming in the next 24 hours. Beautiful, beautiful energy for you guys here. So let's get you 3 different zodiac signs that might be relevant to you within the next 24 hours. All right, we have Virgo, Libra. All right, that's funny. Let's give you another one here. Aquarius. All right, so there is that. Let's do your angel number here. So 2541 is your angel number. All right, and that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you feel so called, come out and see me again sometime. All right, bye-bye. Hello to those of you that selected the Wisconsin card here with the sun dice and this dice here. All right. So this is where I live. I live way down here. Yeah, so this is interesting. So maybe you've been to Wisconsin, maybe you're just curious about this information, but also maybe you just picked the dice. But we'll see, okay? Lots of mysterious things in Wisconsin, though. Lots of things that are relevant to the witchy world, I would say. There's a city near me that is called the Second Salem. And there's lots of interesting earth structures and tunnels under the ground and all kinds of stuff around here that's about very interesting mysteries. And there's like mysteries about witches and some crazy stories. It is a college town too, where a lot of those come from. And I mean, there's throughout Wisconsin, there's a lot of crazy history, but yeah. Okay. If you didn't see our card of the day, it is number 33 with Horse Spirit. Freedom is yours. Okay, so I feel like there might be a specific kind of freedom that you might be finding. Okay, within your life. So let's get you a moon message here. To those of you here that chose group 2. First quarter, waxing, fire moon. Number 2, leaves with competitiveness. All right. So is there a kind of competitiveness around you at this time? Is that something that you might be dealing with? All right, let's go ahead and look at it. So at this time, you might be taking a lot of the information in, and this you might be fueling your fire for you to be able to have the ambition to set out in this competitiveness. Maybe this is also a type of competitiveness that is a little more hidden. So maybe this might be something that you have like your own little competition with yourself in order to better yourself. I can also see you competing with yourself to better yourself. So in that regard, like, let's say you had a certain amount of things that you could be able to accomplish within a year. And maybe this year you're like, well, I'm going to try to add something to that list. You know, something like that. All right. All right, let's get you some tarot cards. I have 5 different decks here, or four different decks. So we're looking at the next 24 hours. So in the next 24 hours, maybe you are gaining the ambition here to outdo yourself, be better than, do something a little above and beyond. And the sun, you know, energy that's good for that. You can really feel a real push, a drive, you know, getting into your masculine energy, regardless of your gender, you know, pushing forward. 8 of Pentacles. Sorry, but fairies aren't going to come to do all the work for you. Okay, yeah. I was definitely feeling like some kind of ambition. I'm feeling like if you're trying to find the ambition, maybe you need to find it and source it through your competitors. Maybe there's something about that. I mean, not to the point of detriment to like where you're like, oh, everybody's better than me, and you get into this shame spiral, because that can happen. You know, I feel like there's a certain amount of balance that you can get to online if you're going to be comparing yourself with anything, looking up things online, looking at other creatives, looking at other people within your work. You know, maybe there's something to that. I'm also seeing you kind of realizing that at this time you might have to do things on your own, and you're kind of really summoning up the energy. Really, I feel it. I feel like you really trying to get that ambition, trying to make that deadline, trying to. And the card of the day that we got has a master number 33 to it. So there is something that might be trying to perfect itself. Master, just something that is like very detail oriented. Something like I see her working with all these little houses, like little fairy houses. So, Now the cat is showing me there is something about this is like an independent spirit to this. It's something you definitely have to do alone. You're going to have to, you know, spend some time maybe not having any references to go by. Okay. I feel like, yeah, you're challenging yourself. I keep seeing someone like 3 of Arrows. Yeah, you're challenging your past efforts of what is, creatively. I feel like you're definitely using your pain very constructively right now. Something about your pain, I just got chills. Yeah, you're using that very constructively right now. And if you're not, you should be, for sure, is what this energy is already telling me, is that if you are someone's hard at work at something, hard at work at a creative endeavor, the way that you want to get into this competitive energy, gain this ambition, this momentum to push forward, is to dig deep into that pain, dig deep into what has hurt you in the past. I'm even seeing like you getting mad about something, like get mad, come on, grr, like stay awake. I'm also feeling that, like stay awake, get mad, like you would slap yourself on the face a little bit. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see, what's another energy coming through here? I just got flashed the Sun card. So yeah, I really feel also bring forth that childlike spirit. You know, the on the Sun card, the child rides on a white horse. Yeah, so I feel that. Wheel of Fortune. Oh yeah, things are turning in your favor. The energy's turning over. I'm also feeling like I'm getting more chills. You turning over the energy by doing it within the information that you're guiding yourself to, going through, archiving. I'm seeing you really working that information. All right, what's one more tarot message for us here? Yeah, I really feel like if you go through this, if the next 24 hours you put your damnedest to whatever you're doing, whatever this project is, whatever this competitive thing that you have to be a part of that you're doing, maybe this is about school or something like that. I'm seeing that when you just go for it, you don't procrastinate, you don't let things from the past slow you down in way of dipping into them where you're like, oh, woe is me. Oh, yeah, why should I try anyway? You know, don't go into a depression spiral about thinking about those sad things in the past. Use those things constructively. Use them to push that wheel forward. Think about that wheel as being one of those heavy, heavy stone wheels that they could, you know, if they put the rod through, that they can move that big stone wheel back from the Stone Age. Actually, we don't even really know what age that was from, but yeah, I can feel like, as in metaphorically, you working that energy, like, yes, this is hard. Yes, this is difficult for me to push through, but I'm using it ergonomically, like in a metaphorical way too. Like ergonomics is like using your force against other forces, like it's kind of like instead of lifting weights, you're lifting your body, or instead of you know, you're using the momentum force for whatever you want it to do. And I'm feeling like you're moving it in a very good way. Yeah, you're not letting it take you down. I'm feeling like also there's a beauty in this. The swans are giving me, there is a beauty in this pain. There's also this mirroring energy that I'm seeing, that you're identifying the pain. I feel like there's this like active meditation that's happening. You may be needing to do this work, but there's something powerful happening underneath the surface here. Okay. So we have 10 of potted trees. That's 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. Very interesting. Yeah, I really feel like you do your efforts. You put in the effort. You be the pillar. I'm seeing these 4 pillars. You be the pillar that you are for your life, right? By going through what the necessary things that are needed to go through in order to get to a place where stability is yours for a long time, for a legacy time, for something that is worth holding on to. This wheel is not going to turn for a season. It's going to turn for a favorable long time, so that you can secure more of your life, maybe even secure others that are in dependency to you. Okay. I see also at this time, you may not be someone in this next 24 hours. This may not be a very romantic time for you. This is, I feel like this is someone, you're someone who's really showing your heart, but showing it in a way that's like a real hardcore effort. And you might be a little bit cold at this time. You may be kind of turned off to emotions at this time. You may want to delve more into the analytics of life and things like that. And I feel like that's also you reworking. I see this systematically reworking things, changing things up. I see a new beginning coming in as well with these 2 10s, a new beginning to freedom. Something that is going to set you up for yourself to be more free. Whatever you're doing now within this next 24 hours is setting you up. So it's like I'm feeling this competitiveness. If you're feeling this in a way that's negatively impacting your work, I'm thinking we need to rework the way we're thinking about why we're using what we're using as that fuel. So what are we using as fuel to push this effort forward? Are we using something that is going to continue to push us? Or are we using something that is going to make us spiral and get emotional and ruin the efforts of what we're doing at this time? And it's not saying that that's a bad thing. Maybe if there is something that you need to process, now may not be the time to deal with this heavy competitiveness. Maybe this is a warning that you're feeling this, but maybe not to really go all the way into it, because you need to realize that you might be doing this to mask something that is of hurt, that you need to process within, so that, what I'm saying about that, like you need to process something before something can actually happen. And maybe there's something you're distracting yourself with in order to be like, no, I'm fine, everything's fine. And it's like, no, it's not fine. Let's deal with it. Let's move through this so that we can use this constructively, and this isn't being a little gremlin in our subconscious, okay? All right, so let's get you some mudras that might be helpful at this time for you. These little hand positionings. Okay, we have thankfulness. Acknowledge what is good. Then we have control. Why worry? And then we have melancholia. Keep going. I like that these are all kind of yellow, bright colors. It's like solar plexus, sacral chakra. Yeah. So let's look at the back of this one. Is the Linga Mudra. This mudra helps to loosen chakra in the lungs. I don't know if I'm... Kara in the lungs. Catarrh. Helps generally against colds and activates the immune system. Okay, and the bottom one says, I am filled with praise and thanks. And this one is the spleen mudra. It strengthens the spleen and the pancreas. And the bottom here says, I am full of confidence, for in the end, the good prevails. This one is the Saboteur mudra from China. This mudra is also called the Tessie mudra. It helps to deal with despondency, melancholy, and depression. And it says, his brilliance illuminates my spirit, warms my heart, and shows me the way to his heavenly home of joy. Okay, and you could reword that if you want, but so yeah, I feel like there might be something also, like I had said, there might be something bringing you down. Like the sun here is coming out to be like, okay, let's keep this positive. Let's stay upbeat. Let's remember the rest of life is still yet to come. Things are still happening regardless of this happening. Okay. All right. So let's see what is next for you here. What is next? Yeah, I also feel like the Eight of Pentacles is really showing me that there is, even the 10, I'm feeling like this potted plant aspect, or like the 10 of Pentacles is like the home, the family, the way we've traditionally done things. So I'm feeling like there is a little bit of control aspect in that. And I'm seeing that one way to get out of your head and get out of that, this card is saying, with all these brooms, is like clean up a little. You know, you do some spell work that has to do with cleaning, how you were like, as you're cleaning, you're actively like in your subconscious or in your mind, you're putting in your mind, you're releasing, you're letting go. And every time you sweep and every time you do that, you're just like, your mind is just in a mantra of, I'm letting go, I'm letting go, you know, I'm ready to let go. And then through that process, it's amazing what happens. I mean, it can be so creatively productive. I mean, it can reattach you to things that you had no idea that, I mean, there's some things that have happened to me that I'm like, if I wouldn't have even just tried that process, because a lot of stuff is experimentation, you know, it's like you experiment, you try that process, and then it's like, oh, that worked for me, it didn't work for me. But most of the experimentation I've done with like spell work and things like that is just knocks it right out of the park every time. It's like I just put in a little bit of effort and I'm like, wow, that was amazing. You know, and you would think that keeping up the routine would be, but there's things in life, you know, that happen that throw us off. So I'm feeling like maybe that has happened and you're coming back to it. The wheel's about to turn back into your favor. So lots of things that are reworking itself, and that confidence is resurfacing, coming back. I feel like that competitiveness is also maybe a sign that you're ready. If you're feeling that competitiveness in any way, maybe that is a sign for you that you're ready to kind of open more up and be a little bit more showing of yourself, ready to show that you're worth, you know, because competitiveness is really has a lot of psychology behind it, but it can be very healthy in the way of us finding our capacity to put out our energy into the world. So can our ambition lead us to? What are we capable of? So I'm feeling like you're finding more of that. There maybe even the season is kind of just sparking that. Maybe also just the heartbreak, whatever this is, use this constructively, use that anger constructively. I'm surprised we didn't get the Queen of Wands with the way this looks. So yeah, I really feel like you guys are moving in a direction where you're trying to find more solid energy in your life, and through that process you're gonna find more freedom. I think it's kind of a weird way to put it, but like I used to buck against the system constantly, like, oh, the way we do things, life, you know, I was just like, I was very much a free spirit, a wanderer. I was like, I want free. But the only time I've actually felt true freedom was like staying put and doing what I needed to do, like paying bills and living in a constant place, you know, not just like taking road trips all around all over the place and being like a vagrant, or, you know, I've been this person in times in my life, and I've had so much freedom that it looked like I was free, but really, you know, I was searching for something within myself that I couldn't find. And no longer did I search when I had to stay still for a time and really, really see what was in there. And I couldn't find it anywhere. I had to look within. And that's kind of what, it sounds cliche to say that, but it's very true. And looking within and finding that confidence will help you find that strong spot, that spot of good fortune, you know. All right, so everybody's going to get different ending cards here. You get the Forest Fae, what are some messages for those that selected group 2 for their next 24 hours. Okay, we have the Griffin, be brave and fly above the clouds. Then we have the Spell Singer, cast spells of wonder and delight. And then the Green Man, embrace your wildness. Let me get you one more. The Fairy Harper, find the words to long forgotten songs and dance to the music in your soul. I love this one because I've recently been archiving music for like this whole new year. I've been finding old music that I'm like, wow. And then that old music has like an algorithm that's connecting me to new music that sounds a little bit like that. I'm like, dang, I love this. So definitely check that out. Check out some music that you haven't looked at for a long time. There might be something in that. So yeah, it's really interesting what can spark your spirit and kind of bring you back to life. You know, sometimes we get in this funk because of, you know, being a part of karmic energy, and bringing our energy back to whole space and feeling good again. You know, sometimes it's just one little thing you hear, one little song. Right, sometimes it feels like the horrible feeling is never okay, I'm like reading my own thing in my own head. Sometimes it feels like the horrible feeling will never end. It's important to hold on and wait it out because it never lasts. Yes. I feel that way. You know, every time the Three of Swords comes out, it's like, oh baby, oh poor baby. I just want to give you a hug. Come here. Mwah, 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 mwah. Because, you know, it feels like it's, oh, this is never going to go away. It's, you know, no, it will go away. And I feel like also you're going to be feeling some kind of spark. This card is showing me you're bringing that in. And if this is a timing aspect for you at all, this is a timeless reading, but whenever you're watching this, whenever the waxing fire moon is coming in, that might be a specific energy that could be beneficial to you, because sometimes I have to wait till planetary energy shifts and changes for me to be like, okay, now I can actually get up out of this funk, you know. All right, so let's get you some zodiac signs here that might be beneficial for you in the next 24 hours or just significant some way. We have Leo, Gemini, and Leo, okay. And Scorpio. All right, Leo, Gemini, Scorpio. Could be important to you. Could be some of your signs. One of them could be your sun sign. Four, 2, 5, 5. 4255 is your angel number for today in the next 24 hours. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me in today's reading. And if you'd like to come out again and see me, I usually post on Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time. All right. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye. Hello to those of you that selected card number 3 here with Wyoming and this little dice here with the moon. So interesting. I love this. You know, funny enough, there's a lot of mystery associated with Wyoming, and we got the moon. So mysterious energy here. There might be also some dreams of I'm seeing like cowboy dreams, Western dreams. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, just this area in general, I find very mysterious. There's a lot of interesting things there. Lots of wide open space as well. Yeah. That's also, yeah, majority of Yellowstone National Park is within the boundary. Yeah. So Yellowstone, yeah, Yellowstone National Park. Just the wild country, really. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get you a moon card here. Kind of set up the energy. If you do not see the card of the day, it is the horse spirit, number 33, with freedom is yours. Okay, so there's something, some aspect to that, some us finding our freedom. Maybe your freedom is in Wyoming or within a wild countryside. Also seeing a little bit of like deserts, you know. What are those called? They're like, it's like the desert, it's sub-desert. Yeah, sub-desert. I'm also seeing subterranean, like underneath the ground, something like bunkers. Also, I'm seeing bunkers. I think there's bunkers out there, isn't there? Yeah, probably. I also feel like if you guys are into like UFO stuff or you like that kind of thing, into aliens, you know. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, number 26, the prisoner, with Venus energy and what is that? Oh, why am I blinking at this? That's where I need flashcards where I do the symbols. But yeah, that's the planet Neptune. Okay. All right. So yeah, I feel like, okay. Oof. Wyoming. Trapped in Wyoming? No. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's not the case. Okay, so what I'm kind of getting from this, oddly enough, is that syndrome that happens when you're imprisoned by someone. It's like you fall in love with your captor. I forgot what that's called. Because this card kind of like is, the lines between fantasy and reality are pretty blurred. So there's something about that. And there's maybe like some victimhood going on. There's also maybe some manipulation. Maybe there's some mental, emotional, maybe physical manipulation caused either by yourself or from someone else here. So there's, I feel like, okay, so this is a message for the next 24 hours. So we're not going to get too heavy on this, but I do feel like there is some kind of situation that you're feeling like you'd like to kind of get out of because you're feeling a little trapped at this moment. Maybe there's a little bit of betrayal that you've been facing. Maybe there's some kind of path that you're, I'm feeling like you're being a little caught up in a little bit of an illusion on this new path. Maybe you're creating this illusion for yourself in order to not take it because there's a fear. Maybe there's some kind of fear of the unknown up ahead is what I'm feeling, because there is this aspect of one of these doors down here is open, and how there's this, I don't know, there's something about her being able to get out of here, but it's kind of almost a self-imposed prison. And this number coming to an 8 is also showing me that this might be a reoccurring thing. This might be something that is constantly eluding you. Like there's, like maybe you get into illusionary states a lot and you have a difficult time getting out of them because you're like trapped in your own mind. And maybe what got you there was like a pleasant experience, but then like getting out of it. I'm also seeing like an actor, you know, preparing for a role and them going real deep into it and being like trapped in their own mind because they've created this character, this yeah. I'm also feeling this feeling. I'm getting a feeling of my own from my recent past about alter egos. Okay, getting into this energy of being in an alter ego state in order to perform a specific tasks that maybe your real self, your real personality is like, ugh, I can't, I don't want to do that. But then getting into like an alter ego, you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. You know, I do that with work. You know, I spoke a few times about how I'm kind of a SpongeBob at work. But there was this one job where I literally created this alter ego, and her name was Cayenne. Like Kaianne. You know, I may be spicy, but I'm not spelled like the pepper. You know, like I had a whole thing, and like so I could be a waitress, and like I had the accent and everything. Like I'm just not, I don't do well like in very high, like lots of people, rooms with I don't do well with like, you know, a lot of stimulation, a lot of energy. So in order for me to combat that, I would kind of get out of myself, out of my own body, and become this other person. But then over time, Cayenne was kind of taken over. And I know this sounds just so silly, but she was taking over, and it was like frustrating my partner. I was kind of frustrating people around me, and like I was like toxically positive, I guess would be the thing, because I would be like, oh well, you know, you just gotta put a little sugar on it. And I was to say like these southern type of like toxically positive things that are basically the woman equivalent of like, just rub some dirt on it, it'll be okay, but like in a positive, chummy way. So I'm feeling like maybe there's something that you're trapped into about that. So I don't think maybe you'd go to the extent of everything I just said, but there might be something about what you've brought in. You know, you kind of conjured up this energy and you've brought it in, and now you're like, how do I cut this off, or how do I get out of this? And I'm feeling like it's through the emotions, first of all. Through the emotions. It's also through your dreams. There may be something about that. There's so many things that you could do to get out of some type of energy, but I'm really feeling like you're the reason why we got this card of the day. People who chose this group. You know, freedom is yours. It's there for the taking, is what this horse is saying. But also I feel like this horse is saying there may be a part of your spirit that has been broken. And you may want to, I'm getting emotional about that. That made me upset. Because I see this horse like, oh gosh, it's really making me upset. Like that horse just wants to run free on the plains. And then the humans come along and they're like, get in the cage. We need to use you. Yeah, I feel that way. Maybe there's something about that. You want to be free, but you feel like you're being used. Whew. All right, so let's move into your tarot. Hopefully we don't get the cards all wet. All right, so those that selected group number 3, next 24 hours, I'm feeling like might be an emotional one. This may be, I'm feeling like a gateway is opening. It's like sometimes tears and emotional stuff is like a gateway of energy. It's like it has to be released. It has to be worked through so that it can crack open. There's an opening that needs to be cracked open. Yeah, I also feel that with like when you're pushing hard in life, and like the moon card or the moon energy we get here, and we got this like feminine energy, and I'm like, if there's been any pushing hard, this is really asking you to get it back into your feminine energy. And ask yourself questions like why? Wyoming is coming through as why. Ask yourself why. Why you do the things you do. What is the purpose? What, do you want to work with purpose? You want to walk with purpose? I feel like I need to pump you guys up, be a cheerleader. Okay, Ace of Cups. Yeah, beautiful. Jellyfish. Yeah, I feel like you guys are very moldable right now. And, oh, yeah, I feel like you need to get a backbone. I know that sounds harsh. I mean, especially if you said that to a man. I feel like that's more of like a thing for a man to be like, how dare you say that to me? But like getting a backbone, stop being a little jellyfishy, you got to get a backbone. You may be sad, you may be real sad, you may be real in your feels, but this jellyfish is coming through to say you're gonna have a backbone. You're gonna have to, because even making a decision, if this was about real deep ooey gooey love that just melts you, yeah, you still have to have a constitution. You still have to have the right energy about you to make the right decisions. And if you don't have that, maybe now is not the time to make decisions. So maybe this next 24 hours is not decision making time. This is a time for self-care, self-love, reflection, and also reflecting on those self-limiting perspectives, self-limiting beliefs that you've encapsulated yourself in. Yeah, I'm not even picking from this deck again. I don't know why. Oh, but I wasn't going to pick from this deck, but I shuffled, and this is the card on the bottom, the moon. Yep. We're in our feels. And I think it's also because there's something that we just don't know everything about. And when we don't know things, like it could be very difficult. But I'm also feeling like trapped in like a loving situation, because I'm feeling like something about the moon, something about relationships is coming through. I'm also feeling like the imposing energy of a mother. Somebody's mother is being overbearing. Something about that. Nine of Pentacles. Pause and savor the results of your success. Okay, there you go. There's a little advice for you. So yes, I'm feeling like a pause is definitely warranted, because the moon, the prisoner, this emotional energy, and then we have this earth energy kind of stopping you dead in your tracks, going, we're at the end of this. Let's just sit down. Let's feel this out. Yeah, nine. Now's the time for peace. Finding our zen. Finding those moments. I got flashed the Three of Wands. It says that's not for you. It's like you're not supposed to be waiting for the things that are coming towards you. You're supposed to be just sitting back. Or you're not supposed to be like waiting on the edge of the hill. You're supposed to be waiting back in your house in your comfy, cozy chair. You're not supposed to be like waiting at the door. Just looking, making sure, oh, did it come today? Did it come? Like, no. Like, let's get out of it. If you're in that energy, if you're in that like feeling, like we need to get into this very chill. I'm feeling like just in general, the freedom that you can experience within the next 24 hours is just letting yourself feel like everything is done. Nothing needs to be done right now. Sure, there's tons of things that need to be done all the time, every single day, every second of the day, we need to plan this, plan that. But this is saying, in the next 24 hours, if you can, do your best to find peace, find something to savor. I'm seeing meals too. I'm seeing beautiful meals prepared. Yes. The World card. You're at the end of this cycle, baby. Take a rest. Yeah. I heard this is a year, not a season. Okay. So you're preparing for a long haul of something. Yeah, okay. So this being the horse, and then the year 2026 is year of the horse. If you're watching that within that time. If you're not, disregard. So we have the card number 26. So maybe this is the year that you break free. Maybe you have felt like a prisoner as of yet. Whatever you're in, your work, your emotions, your relationship, your destination, the place that you feel like you're in, just you're in your mind because of all the things that you've learned, your accomplishments. Maybe you feel a prisoner to your accomplishments, a prisoner to your success, a prisoner to the money that you've made, the things that you've learned, the people that you've loved. Oh God, I'm getting chills. You'll feel a prisoner to everything. Everything. And I think I'm here to say, I don't want it to seem disingenuous, but I will say that I understand that. I understand that energy of feeling trapped by everything. Maybe even wanting to start over. Maybe even being at a place in your life where I'm like, oh, well, but I'm like older now. But yeah, it doesn't matter that you're older. You didn't fail. You just realized. There's no failure here. There's just realization. Okay? And ultimately, there is success. In the next 24 hours, the Nine of Pentacles and the World card with the Ace of Cups tells me there is some type of success. Whether this is emotional success, and this concept of this prisoner energy that the moon is saying is that these emotions that you feel are probably things that you might feel all the time. But can you experience them while you also experience other things in life? Like the milestones that you come about, or those moments of peace that you can have after experiencing any type of success, or actually holding up that torch and saying, yes, I did it. I deserve this. The next 24 hours is the time for some type of celebration as well with the World card. You have come to some level. I don't care what it is. Dig deep. If you can't think of anything, then it's a perspective. Okay, so we have the Four of Potted Trees, the Four of Pentacles. Yeah. So now may be the time to hold on to some of those finances. Like I said, sit pretty with those things. Sit on those things that you've created. I also feel like the four kind of has a stagnant energy to it. So it's like telling me, make sure that soil is very aerated, because if it's going to be in that pot, we need some good drainage. And as to put that at a metaphor to your finances, we need to put our finances where there's some circulation, because too much stagnation with finances causes the inflation of, everything to kind of just stand still. And then, you know, when you go to grab that money or do something with that money, and it's just been staying still, and you've never done anything with it, and it's not accruing anything, it's just staying still. So money likes to move, right? So if you have a set aside amount of money that you're putting into stocks or bonds or some type of CD or IRA or whatever the heck your financial advisor is advising you to do, maybe you should take those steps to secure this foundation, is saying, because there may be something about this success where it's creating a foundation for these next steps. And since there is a new beginning on the horizon of these endings, we have this ending and then we have the new beginning. So it's asking you to take on this new beginning, as in you would in a very patient, loving, supportive energy, because there's something about that that's like, you need to honor this. Maybe you've done a lot of things. Maybe you've put yourself, like I said, in a box by working yourself into this box. I see this as you working yourself into a corner, into the room, and you have to get up in the window because you're like, oh shoot, I put the tile on the floor the backwards way. That's just a metaphor. Like, that would be something that I would have done back in the day, doing that, but like I'm very experienced now with a lot of those kinds of things, so I know how to work my way out of a room when I'm doing certain things. But it's like, I feel like that in a metaphor, like maybe you've worked your way, backed yourself into a corner because you've kind of become the only one that is doing the work here. And I'm seeing, since you've kind of got yourself there, it's like, you know, rest, relax, you know, hop out of that window and get out there and sit in the hammock. You know, it's kind of what I'm seeing from this. And freedom can be found within the world card, is showing me by releasing yourself from the concept of being attached to that thing the way that you were before. It's kind of like going to school and then you're like, well, I'm still attached to school because I have my degree and I'll always be attached to it, but I'm not there. I'm not living in those moments. I'm not living in those even traumas, you know, like traumas of the past. It's like you have to remind yourself and feel that freedom of the fact that you've done the work that it took to actually release yourself from whatever you had to go through. See, I feel like you went through trial and error. You went through quite a bit of things to get yourself into this position. You're like, well, this might be success to someone else, but right now I'm feeling trapped. So now we need to rework this and find our own freedom. And since maybe you can't think of anything at the moment, it's just like, take a rest. Just pause, change up the energy. You know, there's nothing for you to do right now, is what I'm really feeling from this. Nothing for you to do right now. Everything is all good. Okay, now let's get you some mudras that might be helpful at this time. So like hand positionings. All right, so we got decision, freedom, and balance. Beautiful. So decision, I choose well. In this position here. This is the Naga Mudra, so dedicated to the great snake goddess. The snake goddess Naga symbolizes supernatural power, wisdom, cunning, and potency. The mudra resolves emotional and mental tension. It says, I decide with a clear head and a benevolent heart. All right, and then this is the Garanda Mudra. It helps to treat the chest and all kinds of good for the lungs. Just place your hands on either side of the breastbone. And it says, behind the clouds, freedom knows no bounds. And this one here is the Earth Mudra. It sharpens one's senses of smell and is good for the liver, nails, skin, hair, and bones. On the mental, spiritual level, it helps one to find equanimity and cope with changing moods. My life is a gift. I respect and value this gift and make the best of it. Very nice. So yeah, I feel like this may have been a maze, you know, to get to this decision. Yeah, I feel like the choice that you can make within the next 24 hours is, while you're finding this peace, while you're having this moments of meditation and peace and really maybe even doing some self-care stuff, you're going to find that balance. And through that, you can make the right decisions to find those wings, to get into that more freedom aspect and not be trapped by any of these emotions or any of these past things or any of these successes or some of the stuff, you know, they talk about you change. Every time you want to make a decision to make a successful choice that takes a long time, you change during that process. It's like you're not the same person as you were to begin with to even make the choice to do the thing. But you still did it. You went through all of it, and now you're someone who maybe even wouldn't make the choice to do all that. So isn't that interesting how that works? Yeah. So sometimes the one thing that we think that's going to bring us freedom might not, and we need to rework that, balance out, you know, our new, like, learned perspective on life. And what have we seen? What have we learned? What have we grown from that we can now make an informed choice instead of a childish choice or a choice that was from somebody else that was a parent or someone raising us. And then we're like, oh, I'm going to make my choices so that I don't upset you. Is that okay? And then, you know, you go through life and you're like, I learned so much. I don't want to make those same choices, nor will you, right? So there's a new path laid out for you here. All right, let's get you a therapet that can help guide you here. Okay, ooh, it's a wordy one. Thank you for reading through the therapet card deck. Okay. All right, this one is not a therapet. There's a lot of cards that are like the guidebook or the copyright pages that come with it. Like, oh, that's wordy. Like, wait a minute. Okay, so you get the kitty. Oh, yeah. This cat was in, I think, reading too, in a different, like, in one of these cards. So everything is scary and you feel vulnerable, but that doesn't mean anything is going to go wrong. Anxious feelings aren't usually indicative of reality. Oh, that's true. They aren't. In fact, I feel most anxious feelings are our nervous system from our DNA of our ancestors, you know? It's like we're constantly reprogramming, reworking all that. All right, and then everybody gets a new or a different deck. You guys got mushrooms for your ending messages here, and then we'll do your dice. All right, all right, mushroom spirits. What are your ending messages for those that selected group 3 for their next 24 hours? My life unfolds in proportion to my courage. Interesting. Maturity means creating myself endlessly with grace. Maturity means creating myself endlessly with grace. We talked on that, didn't we? The learning, the building, the maturing. because of you, me. Because of you, me. That goes back to that as well. It's like, because of your parents, you exist, you know? Or because of someone else's actions, these are your reactions, you know? How are we doing all that? How are we working with all that? My life unfolds in proportion to my courage. Yes, it's like whatever I feel like you're willing to go after, or also wait for, or do your diligence and, you know, put in the effort to come to a successful completion of something, earn some type of accolade, you know, whatever it is that you put forth in the world, yes, it's going to be, your life will be whatever you make of it, basically, is what this card is saying. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so let's get you some dice here. These are going to be 3 zodiac signs that might come up within the next 24 hours, or maybe these might just be yours as well. So we have Libra, Virgo, and Gemini. Leo, Virgo, Gemini. And then let's get you an angel number here. 2, 5, 4, 1. 2541 is your angel number. All right, that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me in this energy exchange. And if you feel so called, come out and see me again sometime. I post every week at Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time. All right, have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.